Fox 5 News at Noon starts right now.
We're talking about the potential for war in Europe. We believe it is in the best interest of all that there is a diplomatic end to this moment.
White House officials acknowledging the real possibility of war as talks about an invasion of Ukraine from Russian forces intensifies. We'll tell you how the U.S. continues to try to defuse the situation. Plus,
DeKalb County Police are asking for your help to find 5 suspects who are wanted in connection to the death of a 24-year-old security guard. I'm Brooke Sonner. I'll have the details straight ahead.
First, though, closing arguments in the federal hate crimes trial against the 3 men convicted of killing Ahmaud Arbery now underway. This, the final time both sides will be able to plead their cases before the jury decides the fate of father and son Greg and Travis McMichael and their neighbor William Roddy Bryan. Thanks for joining us this Monday, this President's Day. I'm Caitlin Pratt in for Portia Bruner. 12 jurors will now hear dueling arguments as the closely watched trial comes to a close. And Fox 5's Eric Perry has followed what's happening inside the courtroom from the beginning. Joins us now live from Brunswick with the latest. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Caitlin. Happening right now, the defense is actually up for Travis McMichael as they work to prove their client's innocence. Earlier this morning, the government worked to prove that the 3 men targeted the 25-year-old jogger strictly because of his race. Let's take you to some video. We saw Marcus Arbery, who is the father, as he head inside that courthouse with faith leaders really surrounding him with prayer and support there. We also saw Wanda Cooper Jones, who is the mom of Arbery, head inside. I got a chance to ask her how she was feeling as this case inches closer to the hands of the jury.
I think that the DOJ, they presented the case very, very well. I think that, like I shared on Friday, that they did a very good job of presenting the evidence, and we have a very good chance of getting a guilty verdict on all counts.
And we also saw Lee McMichael, who's the wife of Greg McMichael and the mom to Travis McMichael, head inside the courthouse as well. Inside this morning, the prosecution worked to prove that race was the major motive in this case. They went over social media posts from all the 3 men and say that they were racially charged. Now, in their closing arguments, the prosecution said, quote, all 3 defendants saw a black man in their neighborhood and they immediately thought the worst of him. Again, happening right now, the defense attorney for Travis McMichael wrapping up her defense here the last time she would get a chance to head in front of that jury to prove her client's innocence. She says and disputed the digital footprint, those social media posts. She also tried to say that Travis was talking to like-minded people in those text messages that were revealed as evidence, saying that he was talking with other people and never once said anything derogatory on the day of the actual shooting. Now, we do expect that the jury to be handed this case at some point. The prosecution has another chance to come back in front of the jury for the final words. But again, all eyes are really on this case here. This also comes just 2 days before the anniversary, the second anniversary of Ahmaud Arbery's death. I asked his mother what she will do to remember her son. I'll have that part of the story when you join us today starting at 4 o'clock. In Brunswick, I'm Eric Perry, Fox 5 News.
An emotionally charged week, to say the very least. Thanks, Eric. And as Eric mentioned, Wednesday is marking the anniversary of Arbery's death. The day is going to be known as Ahmaud Arbery Day here in Georgia. State Representative Sandra Scott of Clayton County introduced this resolution. Representative Scott says it should remind Georgians how Arbery's death led to overturning the state's archaic citizens arrest law and also the passage of hate crimes legislation. To also mark the day, the Cobb County District Attorney's Office will host a prayer vigil at Marietta Square. That is Wednesday at 2 in the afternoon. Developing now, a man suspected of driving drunk and killing a Fayette County high school student has taken his own life in jail. And now an investigation is underway. That's according to the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. Deputies tell us officials found 6-year-old Robert Lee Stevenson unresponsive over the weekend in a jail cell in the infirmary. Investigators say Stevenson hit 16-year-old Russell Logan earlier this month as he walked home from Starrs Mill High School after a lacrosse game.
My son doesn't deserve to be without his dad. His family doesn't deserve to be away from him. He's 24. Any information will help. Just please help my husband, please.
Oh, you can hear the pain in her voice. Unbearable pain for that woman who lost her loved one to gun violence. Someone shot and killed security guard this weekend while he was on the job in DeKalb County, and detectives have released these surveillance images. 5 people who they believe they're involved in these surveillance images. Security footages show them all walking through the parking lot, and Fox 5's Brooke Zahner has more on this.
The victim's wife is really distraught about this. She was very emotional when we spoke to her over the weekend. And this afternoon, DeKalb County police are still actively looking to identify those 5 suspects they say are responsible.
Any information will help. Just please help my husband, please.
Kyla Rushton's pain is palpable. She's the widow of 24-year-old Henry Ashley, a security guard who was shot and killed Saturday night in Stonecrest.
My son doesn't deserve to be without his dad. His family doesn't deserve to be away from him. He's 24.
Police were dispatched to the courtesy Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram near the Mall of Stonecrest Saturday around 11. Pictures from security video show the 5 suspects walking through the parking lot of the dealership.
I need to know why they did it. Like, why they shot him without him having anything on him. Was he worth more than a car to them?
Kyla says her husband was rushed to the hospital with 1 gunshot wound to the chest. Despite doctors' efforts, they couldn't save him. Henry leaves behind a 4-year-old son who's trying to make sense of what happened.
My main mission right now is for these people to be caught, for him to have justice, for my son to be able to feel like his dad did what he was trying to fight for.
Now, Kyla also told us that she and her husband were planning to buy a house together, but now those plans are put on hold as she tries to deal with this. And again, DeKalb County police are asking for your help to identify those 5 suspects wanted in this case. That's the latest here in front of DeKalb County Police Headquarters. I'm Brooke Zahner, Fox 5 News.
Someone knows something. All right, new at noon, we now have the mugshot of a man accused of stealing an Atlanta fire truck, or should we say trying to steal. Detectives say Curtis Smith jumped into the truck, popped the brakes Saturday as firefighters responded to a gas leak on Neal Street. Well, the truck didn't go anywhere but backwards, rolling into a parked car. No one was hurt. Investigators have now charged Smith with theft and criminal damage to property. Also new at noon this Monday, Griffin police say this man got out of a car, ran from officers, left a lot of things behind. That got him into trouble. Police say Terrence Elliott had a gun last Thursday when police tried to pull him over near 3rd Street and Central Avenue. Detectives say he pulled into someone's driveway, got out, ran off. Well, officers eventually caught up to him, arrested him, and inside his vehicle, they say they found meth, cocaine, a gun, and a whole lot of cash. MARTA says its track replacement project between the Buckhead and Medical Center stations remains ahead of schedule. MARTA officials sending us some pictures a few moments ago. You're looking at them. Officials say crews have worked around the clock to get the switch steel and ties in place and secured. Right now, that work is still set to be finished by Wednesday night. So what is going on weather-wise? We sure did have a nice weekend, but some changes on the way, Jeff Hill.
Take a look at this, our Fox 5 Live Viper. Lots of rainfall coming our way, and there's some lightning strikes happening off to the west of Birmingham, or actually just southwest of Birmingham and over into Mississippi. We may get into a little bit of that, but we're definitely going to get the rain. The rain's already started in parts of the viewing area. As we zoom in a little bit closer, there's one little shower. It's heading over toward McDonough. Most of the rain right now over in Cleveland, Randolph County, and Alabama, over into Heard County. Carroll County stretching down into Troup County, now starting to extend a little bit farther to the east over toward Thomaston through Greenville. Pike, Lamar County, you're going to get some of that rain as well, but there's that one little shower right now, which was just south of Atlanta. It's now moving over toward McDonough and Stockbridge, and that will continue to move off to the east. Stay tuned. We'll have your complete forecast for you coming up in just a few minutes.
See you in a bit, Jeff. Thanks so much. A new round of talks, meantime, between President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin could happen, and soon. That's as long as Russia doesn't move ahead with an invasion of Ukraine. Now, Fox's Madeline Rivera has the latest developments for us and details on why many are skeptical of a potential meeting between the two leaders.
Heavy shelling from Russian-backed separatists in eastern Ukraine is ramping up, per Ukrainian military officials, stoking fears that a Russian invasion could happen anytime.
It's worse than 2014. They were fighting less, and now they hit us every day.
But in another attempt at diplomacy, President Biden has signaled he's open to meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin if Russia hasn't attacked yet. Still, the Kremlin remains cautious.
A meeting is possible if it's deemed beneficial by the heads of state.
Russian tanks and troops remain in Belarus, despite military drills that were supposed to end over the weekend. The U.S. also issuing a new warning, citing credible information that indicates Russian forces are creating lists of identified Ukrainians to be killed or sent to camps following a military occupation.
We're absolutely prepared to sit down and seriously discuss with Mr. Putin a diplomatic way forward here.
Ukraine, meanwhile, making a dire plea for tougher action from Western leaders. President Vladimir Zelensky calling for sanctions against Russia before any potential invasion, not after, a notion some congressional lawmakers agree with.
We need to tell Vladimir Putin exactly what we're going to do if we want to have any effect on his calculus whatsoever.
The White House argues the threat of sanctions should deter Putin from attacking. But some are questioning that argument, especially if the U.S. believes Putin has already made up his mind to invade. In Washington, Martha Rivera, Fox 5 News at Noon.
Authorities accuse this woman of a disturbing crime. We'll tell you what police say she used to kill her own husband. Plus, a canine officer's instincts and keen sense of smell, both helping authorities arrest two men. We'll show you what the dog helped officers take off the streets. First, though.
He said that he wanted to commit suicide.
That's not a solution. That's a permanent solution to a short-term problem.
Veteran police officer using his experience to help talk a man out of taking his own life. You'll hear from that sergeant about the emotional rescue next on Fox 5 News at Noon.